Hello. Here's the deal. I'm not feeling that well. I got a flu shot yesterday. I know, it's very late in the season. I didn't have time, I was on the road, I finally got a chance, whatever. So I got a flu shot yesterday and I was doing fine for the first 6 or 8 hours and then I inevitably started feeling crappy. You can't get the flu from the flu shot, we all know that, but you can definitely get mild cold-like symptoms from anything foreign you put into your body, and that's what seems to happen to me anytime I get a flu shot, so got a little bit of a sore throat and I just feel a little down today. So I figured it was as good a day as any to do a low-key Q&A, but I'm gonna do it quickly. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Brian Miller. I'm a magician and motivational speaker. My regular subscribers, thanks so much for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. This channel's growing quickly lately, isn't it? Awesome. If you are new here, you probably don't know that I do my regular Friday Q&As kind of framed around one question. Like each Friday Q&A is mostly just one topic that I address via 1 or 2 different questions that have come in, but I'm gonna do more like a normal kind of Q&A today and just bounce down 4 or 5 questions that have built up over the last few weeks that I didn't have that much to say about, and we'll fill the time, it'll be good for everybody, and then you'll have the weekend. So, yeah. First question. Why not use a handycam instead of a DSLR for vlogging? That's a great question. So if you're new to vlogging, if you've been in vlogging for a while, you're probably familiar with the fact that there's lots of different cameras you can vlog with. Some people start off by vlogging just with their phone because smartphones these days, especially the flagship ones like the Samsung Note 8, hashtag not a sponsored video. They all have really phenomenal cameras. Then there are those who vlog only with a point and shoot camera, something like this, the Canon G9X. It's small, it's light, it's a terrific quality. Or you can use kind of a high-end professional point and shoot, something like this, the Canon G7X. Preferred for vloggers because it has the flip-out screen, which means you can see yourself while you're vlogging. I recently did a video all about can you vlog with the G9X, which was also kind of a comparison video between the G9X and the G7X. You can check that out here. Then a step up from there, there are mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras. Of course, all the different companies make them, but I typically stick with Canon. What I'm filming on right now is the Canon EOS M3. Ooh. Ah. This camera is an absolutely magnificent camera for vlogging, especially if you want an interchangeable lens camera, but you're on something of a tighter budget. You can pick these up used pretty cheap these days, and the different lenses that Canon makes for it are pretty good, especially the 18 to 55 kit that actually comes with this camera is a terrific vlogging lens. I've also done many videos on the EOS M3. In fact, a lot of you are here on my channel because of my videos about this camera. Then there are vloggers who go for something bigger, like the Canon 70D or the 80D, which is a DSLR, or all the way up to the 5D series or the 1DX Mark II if you're Peter McKinnon and you have $10,000 to spend on a vlogging camera. There are lots of different types of cameras that vloggers use to do what we need to do, but the one type of camera you don't often see vloggers with is a camcorder. So the question was, why not use something like this, a camcorder, for vlogging instead of these other types of cameras that I've been showing you throughout this answer? And the primary reason, well, okay, so where the person was coming from when they asked the question is because camcorders are designed to just keep everything in focus all the time, always, no matter what. And they definitely do that. But for one thing, what you sacrifice with their ability to keep everything in focus is usually, 1, low light performance, and 2, you never get that kind of cinematic look that a lot of vloggers these days on YouTube really like. That blurry background, which I'm not getting right now, by the way, but if I change this lens for a second, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, now you're seeing it. Now I'm using a lens that gets that nice blurry background, and the ability to switch out the lens that I was using, this 11 to 22 millimeter zoom lens, a wide angle zoom for something like this, that is a beautiful thing, and one of the primary reasons people like me like to use, that was a lot of likes. It's one of the reasons that people like us that use interchangeable lens cameras like interchangeable lens cameras, because we have so many options of lenses to choose from to get different looks and different feels for our videos. By the way, in case you're curious, that was the Canon EFM 22mm f2 lens that gets that beautiful background blur. Another reason YouTubers don't choose camcorders more often is because they're not that wide of a lens. In other words, they don't get in that much of the image. They don't give you a whole lot of context. And YouTubers are typically filming ourselves. And a lot of times when we're out there running and gunning around, we're holding the camera. Now, if I were to use this, okay? Now it's got the great screen. If I were to use this and zoom out as far as it can go, if I were holding this out in front of me, that is as far away as I can go, and that's with my arm all the way extended to the point where it's actually uncomfortable. Okay, there we go. You can see how far away my arm is extended. I mean, I am way, way far away right now. You can see that over here, but look I'm still pretty close to the camera. I mean, this is not, you know, if I were holding it at kind of a normal length, that's as wide as it is. Now you can buy wide angle converters for these, but that's another additional cost on top of the fact that this right here, like this is the Panasonic 4K HC-VX870 Wi-Fi 4K. This is like an $800 camcorder. So if I'm gonna spend another $150, $200 on top of that to get a wide angle for $1,000, man, you can get the new Canon M6 with this 11-22 lens for $1,000. I wouldn't buy this. So why do I own this? Well, I'm a live entertainer, I'm a magician, I'm a motivational speaker, and I need something I can set up at the back of the room on a tripod during my live speeches, hit record and let it record for an hour or an hour and a half, and know that it's going to pretty much always keep me in focus and track my face, and that it's not gonna stop recording or overheat. That's what camcorders are for. But for all those reasons, they're not the right choice for vloggers. Okay, I spent way too long answering that first question, so I'm gonna power through the next few questions here. Speaking of the lenses on the Canon M mirrorless system, somebody asked, now that I bought the 11-22, which is what's on here right now, now that I bought the 11-22, can I sell my kit lens? He's got a 15-45 millimeter kit lens. Or he or she, I don't have the usernames in front of me from where these questions came from. So thank you to everybody who asked the questions. I didn't think to screenshot the questions. I just kind of jotted them down in a note using my handy dandy S Pen that has made my entire business so much easier. Can I sell the kit lens now that I have the 11-22? I wouldn't. Not yet, anyway. If you just got the 11-22, you're going to find out very quickly that it does one thing very well. It's very wide. You get lots of stuff in the image. You can hold out this camera in front. I mean, right now, I am only 6 inches from the lens, and you can still see my face and all this other stuff. And if I'm vlogging, this is typically where I would be holding it out in front of me. Look at all the context in the background that you can get. So that's a beautiful thing about the 11-22. And yeah, it comes in, and that's as far in as it goes when you zoom. But something this doesn't do well is zoom further, right? I mean, this is it. This is as far as you can go in. So if you're out vlogging and you see something off in the distance and you want to zoom in on it to point to it, you know, with the camera, to point the viewers to it, this lens is not gonna go very far. So I would definitely keep the 15-45 a little bit longer, just to see if you end up in situations where you do wanna use that longer zoom range. Although I will say, if you wanted a longer zoom range, the 15-45 really isn't the kit lens to have for this system. The kit lens to have for this system is the 18-55. That's gonna give you a much, much longer zoom range, and from everything I've heard, I don't have the 15-45, but I've heard it's the worst of all the lenses on the Canon M system, and this 18-55 kit is actually really terrific. All right, staying on the topic of this vlog system that I use, is the external mic really that much better than the internal mics, or can I just use the internal mics? I did an entire video just answering that question. You can find that here. I remember the question came in on that video, so I'll answer it again. You are currently listening to the Canon M3 with the Rode Video Micro. The Rode Video Micro is a small, affordable, very high quality external microphone for compact cameras, mirrorless cameras, DSLRs. Now I'm going to unplug the external mic and you'll hear just how different the audio quality is with the internal microphones built into the camera, and And now you're listening to the audio with the internal microphones built into this camera. How's that sound? I bet it sounds thin and tinny and hollow and echoey because the built-in microphones on cameras, even the most expensive cameras, the built-in microphones are terrible. Why? This thing wasn't built for audio. This thing was built for video or photos. That's what it was built for. It's not built with good audio drivers. You want to get an external microphone to, at the very least, make the microphone better, even though it's going into a bad audio driver. And if you're doing real professional work or high-quality YouTube videos or studio stuff, you'll notice all the videos on my channel that are real studio videos, not these quick Q&As, not my vlogs. But the studio videos, especially the ones I do about cameras like tutorials and reviews and things, I'm always using an external microphone, typically a very high quality one, not this one, and I'm using it plugged into an external audio recorder like the Tascam DR05, which I have also done a whole bunch of videos on, which you can find somewhere up here. I realized that in this Q&A I referenced a ton of videos. I tried to put them up here in the cards, but I'm also going to put a link to all of the relevant videos in the description. I'm gonna call it at that. My throat's just not feeling great. I'm feeling pretty low energy, but hopefully that did not affect the quality of this Q&A. Thanks so much for sending in all your questions. If you have questions for me, leave them in the comments section down below. My name is Brian Miller. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and always remember that our world is a shared experience. Bye. I just started cleaning up all my stuff to bring in all the footage and edit this Q&A, and I realized that I left the external mic unplugged for my entire sign-off at the end there. I'm too tired to redo it. Please forgive the horrendous audio quality at the end of that video.